Good day everyone and welcome to this new first look video. Well, it isn't strictly a first look, at least for me. Maybe it is for you, maybe it's not for you, because there are a few other videos around that already have the first look. Well, let's start the first look of the second round of Rivet games for Trains in World, and the first Swiss route that is available in Trains in World, the Arosalinie or the Arosa Line, the Arosa Bahn, however you would like to call it. In the Arosa Line, the description of it is experience the beauty of Switzerland for the first time in Trains in World 2, Arosalinie, or Arosa Line, as you take the controls of the RhB GE 4-4 number 2 narrow gauge locomotive. You are designated driver operating services between Arosa and Chur in our recreation of the Arosa Line. I think I'm going to call it Arosa Line. Is a bit more. I'm a bit more used to it to call it Arosa Line. What is in this pack? Of course, at the first sign in the main menu, you have a journey mode. You can resume a save game, but it is a standard save game that you last saved in Train Sim. We're going to the Expo Menu, and of course it is available with the tools. Also on the road there are jobs, the collectibles. You have 4 different types. You have the standard route maps, 20 of them. You have 10 cameras that were first introduced in the Isle of Wight. You have snow globes. That is a real snow globe, or at least it was captured from the RhB web shop. You can get actual snow globes there, but you can this time you can get it in the game instead of the ice creams. It's a little bit cold for the ice cream in the winter there, but. And of course you have the ibex. The ibex is sort of sheep, goat, mountain goat. About 20 of them also. What comes in the pack? We're going to the explore menu. You have, well, let's start with the journey mode. You have 40 journeys to do. In 5 chapters. You have chapter 1, introductions and experience. In this one you can find the introduction and the scenarios that are coming with them, the 5 scenarios. Chapter 2, it's you have Chur Arosa, Arosa Chur, and so on. Then you have a chapter with runaround services, on the move, and the final end of night shutdown. Some more runarounds, which I think we're going to stable the locomotives to to the end of the day and preparing for the next morning. Of course, you have the training. You have the GE 4-4 to introduction. It's about 30 minutes. You can explore on foot. You have 5 scenarios available in total. The Arosa northbound in the winter, the Arosa southbound in, I think, the spring, maybe spring or summer, Timberlock delivery, unloaded wagon wonderlands, and the tourist excursion. You also have the timetable mode. You have you can switch deliveries on this train. Let's select this one. You're driving this this RhB locomotive. You can see we're now currently driving at 6:15. But if you use the switch livery button, you can switch between the liveries. 6:22. Back to that one is now the 6:28. Back to that one is now the 6:26. So you can actually switch between the different liveried versions with this button. In the timetable mode, You have, if as you can see, you have if you select this one or this one, you always have 84 services available. Regional stops the southbound service from Chur to Arosa, Arosa to Chur, and then a runaround, and so on. You also have sometimes the RE services. The RE services are most sometimes they stop at less stations along the way. Last night, yeah, I record this on Sunday. I did the Chur Arosa. It took about an hour or so, which is an direct line. You don't stop at any stations along the way. You can stop yourself if you want, but otherwise, I didn't get the the button that you needed to stop at the stations or so, the notification. So I drove straight to Arosa. It's a nice run. What we are going to do. Oh, before we move on, in this pack you also get the timber wagons. You have the locomotive. You have the coaches. You have an baggage car type with for bicycles, or in the winter I think they use it for the skis and so on. You also have a timber wagon. The timber wagon is only used in the scenarios. It isn't used in the timetable. At the time of this recording, there are a few smallish bugs with the road. They have been known. They will be patched in a future update. Something I did notice is the timber wagon is a little bit unstable, and I tried 2 scenarios, and both of them you can see in my Twitch stream. Both of them derailed me, so that wasn't fun on stream. But sometimes these things happen, and I'm sure the Rivet Games will try to fix it. But first, let's try to do the training scenario. I already did the training scenario, but we're going to do it again. The introduction. We're driving a little bit, shunting a little bit, and we take a look inside the train. Let's start. Going to be quiet because it is spoken.
Welcome to this introduction for the GE 442 locomotive in RhB red livery. During this introduction, we will go through the following procedures: starting and stopping the locomotive, coupling, loading and unloading. Climb aboard to get started.
Well, now we can move. Welcome to Chur station. From here you can get the normal lines to other parts of Switzerland. You can also get on the line to the Silver line towards Decentus. Well, it is snowy. It did snowed. One nice little feature are these boxes. You can actually open the boxes. You can zoek afvaren naar Chur Altstadt en Chur Wiesenthal. Wiesenthal is that way. You can't actually go there, but all the way to Wiesenthal, because this is the route. We are at Chur, and we're going towards Lunien Kasteel, and this is the old way. Here's the Langwiese Viaduct and Arosa at the top. these boxes you can actually use to depart. The departure signals with the brake and so on actually function. I didn't play it around with it yet, but I'm going to spoil one thing. If you are here for the first time, there is an ibex toy on this bench. So I've already collected it, so it isn't displayed, but that's one of the collectibles that you can get. But we're going to drive the 626 Malans locomotive. Of course, look around before crossing the tracks. You have the same box right here. It's going to get a bit loud.
A lot of your time will be spent in the driver's seat.
Well, welcome to the locomotive. Before we sit down, let's just look inside the engine room. You have the engine room lights. You can actually move a little bit into the engine room with the window. Pretty nice touch. Well, let's sit down.
Switch the master key to on to enable this cab for driving. The reverser controls the direction of travel when power is applied relative to the driver cabin view. Set the lever to forward now. Headlights are important in letting others around you know that this locomotive is operational. Set the lights to the correct configuration needed for this service. The control wheel is split into two zones, Bremsen and Fahren. The train vacuum brake should be used to bring the locomotive to a stop when driving in a passenger or freight formation. The locomotive air brake only applies the brake on the locomotive. This should only be used when operating the locomotive without additional coupled vehicles.
As you can see, the needle is going down.
The Bremsen zone controls the locomotive's dynamic brake. The Fahren zone controls the power supplied to the traction motors and, depending on the weight of the train, also acts as a speed selector.
I'm also setting the vacuum pump to, I think it's number 3. It isn't actually then shocking the train as much. Let's set it to 1, which means it's going to go to 10 kilometers an hour. It isn't braking, you need to brake yourself if you want to brake the train. Otherwise it just keeps the power on until at 10, as you can see, 11, 12 and so on. But we can actually go towards 2. Let's use the local brake. Actually stop this train. I'm still learning how to drive this locomotive. It's pretty interesting.
Now open the dispatch menu and contact the signaller to gain access to the occupied siding.
Lights have changed, so we can actually now couple up to the coaches. Let's keep it at an unrestricted speed. The rear setting to 1 is you have only one of the lights on. and forwards normally is just those 3 lights. The horn. You actually need to judge it, but set the train vacuum brake to full service. Reverse to control. Rear lights to 0. One thing they don't tell you is the passenger lights. Well, let's take a look inside the train itself currently. You can open the doors. I did put on the light, so it's let's close the doors, a bit chilly. Well, welcome to the first class. Second class. Another second class. This is an entire second class coach. You can pull down the windows. You can also, if you want, pull down the blind. There is somewhere is the blind. Maybe the blind is locked in the in the tutorial, but there's a blind you can pull down. And the final coach that we're going to look at is the baggage coach. Well, it's another regular coach. Let's go to the back coach. This is the bike coach. A small conductor area where you can sit, but there's a small workstation and a train announcement thingy and so on. And welcome to the baggage coach. You can also open these doors. There is a yellow bar in front of it. The yellow bar is, actually tells you to, well, not walk out of the of the train when it's moving and the doors are open. You can see it also closes. Well, that is actually a walk around the coaches. The coaches actually do look really, really good. We're taking up too much time. Let's get into the train. You can always get into the train and only one side. It's on the left side. Oh yeah, you can also do that mirror. I'm going to show you that. That's the key. Rear lights. I don't actually know why we use the rear lights when we are coupled, but select to 2. A bit more dim. If you put the review mirror or the Rückspiegel to on, it actually opens up the window over the mirrors. This one. In this one. Look at that handsome devil driving the train. signals are on the left side of the track. Kilometers an hour in 100 meters. We're going to stop at Chur, Churstad and Lunienkastiel. One thing I did notice, if you start up the train or the tutorial in the game, it always puts on those the markers on the ground. Actually turn them off all the time, but
press the door release button for the appropriate platform side to allow passengers to climb aboard.
passenger can board and he can actually get out of the way. We were late a bit, but the first part of the train is going to run through the city, so yeah, it's a bit of a tram in the first few kilometer, 1 maybe 2 kilometers or so, I think. Then we're going up on the mountain. As you can see, cars are driving around, and as long as we are approaching, the cars will stop. Like that car has already stopped, and that car has already stopped. It's now they are waiting before they are waiting before they can move again after we departed that part of the crossing. Pretty cool technique that Rivet put in here. That's also one of the collectibles on this route. That one is a signal that if people want to get on, they can press a button at the station. If you press the button, the driver knows that somebody wants to get on the train, and the driver then stops the train at the station. But we have been asked to stop here anyway. The doors on the right. No, if there, yes. This is the Ibex toy that is available as a collectible. Sometimes it's laying flat, otherwise it's standing right side up. There's a route map that is here. That one. The third one is the snow globe. If you get around with the stand with 4 of those, you need to collect 1. Let's go to number 3. I don't think I see a camera. Yeah, I see a camera. This is the 4th one. The Rivet Games camera is standing right here. I can see then if you collect it, you're going to put a photograph at the back side. Those are the 4 collectibles that are in the game. Some of the collectibles are multiple ones at stations. I think the Ibex and the Ibex toy and the photograph also appear outside of the stations. The snow globes, I think, on the stations as well as the road maps, but don't hold me to that. As you can see, I still need to collect many of them. On the left side there's a depot where trains are stored and maintained. Speed limits. The maximum speed on this line is 35 kilometers an hour. In the city you can do about 20-25, at stations you do about 30, tunnels and other parts 30-33. The 35 you're going to get the maximum speed of this line. Most of the time it's at Langwies and towards Arosa. Otherwise it's most of the time 30-33. 2.3% incline currently, but it's going to change towards 6% in just a short while. Remember that the distance counter on the left side, the right side with the change of the speed and the signal is actually the actual kilometer or distance via the track. The bubble here, right here, and the stop location on the left side is a straight line. So this is 5.3 kilometers in a straight line. As you can see, we're going to drive a little bit longer. But at least 33 kilometers, 3.2 kilometers to 30. Passing the tunnels and the snow galleries. As you can see, the catenary is Swiss, but the pantograph is going up and down, always depending on the tunnel. The tunnels are always lower with the pantograph and the wire. It's pretty neat. Well, we're going to enjoy this view and just let's enjoy the view. Those types of views that you see that you are hugging the wall, the mountain wall, is just awesome. It's a most scenic road. This one. There are a few things that Rivet Games did to enhance the experience, at least to get the FPS up. Is one thing that people didn't notice. I read about it on the forums of Rivet Games and on Dovetail Games. is the scenery, the distance scenery. It's a little bit less than you are used to, but also it's a little bit harder because the routes that are currently available or was made and it's not feature high mountains, but we will see what the Skyhook one brings. There are a few screenshots floating around. Looking forward to also reviewing that one. But as I said, they removed a lot of trees to get the FPS. Otherwise, if everything was placed, the FPS was horrible. That I was hearing about. One of the many tunnels, a dark tunnel. As you can see, the tunnels are white. You can't actually see it around here, but you can see it right here. The tunnel is mapped on the line with white. Stations sidings are orange, station platforms or stops are purple. Stops are purple and station platforms are greenish. (100 meters, 30 kilometers an hour). Let's drop down a notch. One of the many, I want to say many, but one of the many bridges spanning the valley, connecting mountains with tunnels and so on. it's always, well, it's a strange sight, at least for me, as I live in the Netherlands. It's relatively flat until you get to the south, but otherwise it's relatively flat. To just see a bridge after a mountain and a bridge connecting to the wall, to the side of the mountain, and a tunnel, and then a portal tunnel into it. So it's always another type of sight to see. 1.2 kilometers left to our final destination of this tutorial. Just look at the view. Sadly, due to the current situation around the world, I still didn't get a chance to visit the RhB myself. But it's one of my plans to visit this part of the country, to actually visit everything. Well, as we are approaching Lunen Kasteel, which is the final destination of this train. What are my thoughts about this route currently, as I have already driven it on stream with the this tutorial. It's yeah, the scenery is pretty good. It's pretty nice. If you in the winter, it's actually really nice. In the summer, it's because of the hills are just green with the with less trees. Like this is just snow, but otherwise with green, it's a little bit different. But they would say it is a trade-off of the game with the FPS. I don't mind myself, because it's just it's a road that you can drive, more tracks, more terrain, different type of terrain you can experience. The rolling stock itself, they opted for a locomotive with coaches. It's a pretty good choice, actually, because if you have an EMU, it's just an EMU. I would actually find it if they are going to make the Allegra train that is driving up here also. It's pretty awesome if they also made that one. Well, let's stop the train. Just before I'm going to close off my my final thoughts of the train, let's take a look around the turning of the hut. You have one of the unique features is this one. These signposts are actual actual signals. You must stop in front of this marker, otherwise you are running a red light. This is the combined lights. You can see it features two ones, left track, right track. If this one is straight on, is not horizontal but vertical, you have clearance to get to move from the right track onto the single line. On the stations, most of the stations have these type of houses. Everyone has a different text displayed on them. Of course, many collectibles around the stations. Yeah, actually, my final thoughts on this route, as you can see, it actually looks pretty good. As I was talking, because of the performance, that they want the performance on the routes to be good for every system. They chosen not to populate as many trees as there actually are at the distant scenery, but it's a trade-off, and I think the trade-off is actually worth it if you just look at if you want to drive a train. It comes indeed with the locomotive, with the coaches, the this one, the AB coach, the B coach, and the D coach. Hopefully they are going to make the Illegara for this route, or otherwise we will see what they going to build next. Hopefully more Swiss routes, that the collection is growing inside Trains in World. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will going to do some streams, of course, with this train, this route, and we will see in the future what the future will bring. I want to ask everyone to just judge for themselves. You can buy the route. If it isn't for you, then if this isn't for you, this route currently, or the price is too high, just wait for the sale. Otherwise, you can try that. You can always refund it, but it's going to stay in my collection. Was this about the train?
Good work. That is the basics covered. A manual can also be obtained that explains the full functionality and features of this locomotive. Welcome to Switzerland. Take control of a true icon of Swiss motive power over the incredibly picturesque Arosa Line. Deliver passengers to the many stations of the mountainous railway out of Switzerland's oldest town, Chur. Wind your way through the streets or take in the breathtaking scenery of the Swiss Alps and its many peaks and valleys. With challenging grades to conquer, your passengers are waiting for a sightseeing tour to remember. Along the way, don't forget to place route maps, collect snow globes, trigger cameras, and collect ibex toys. Welcome to the Arosa Line.
Well, that was the introduction. I hope you, as I said, hope you all enjoyed the video and enjoy the route. For now, I will say good day. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye bye.